Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a biblical mystery, one that doesn't just challenge logic, it kind of reshapes our whole understanding of reality.
Yeah, we're talking about beings that are, well, they're bewildering. So unlike anything we typically imagine.
Exactly, almost defying description. We're looking at maybe the least understood celestial beings in Scripture. Often overlooked, you know.
But they hold such a profound key to understanding God's active presence in our world. It's quite amazing, actually.
We're using an excerpt from a YouTube transcript. It's called Este es el ángel más misterioso de la Biblia, Historias Bíblicas Explicadas, from the Hechos Bíblicos channel.
Great source for this.
And our mission is really to unpack the prophet Ezekiel's incredible, totally mind-bending vision. We're zeroing in on these mysterious
Living wheels.
Living wheel. I mean, what does that even mean, right? But by the end of this deep dive, you'll get their significance, not just for back then, but for right now.
Absolutely. What Ezekiel saw, it just transcends any traditional idea of angels you might have.
Yeah.
It reveals a God who is dynamic, unstoppable.
Okay, so let's get into this vision. How did Ezekiel actually experience it? The source is really clear here.
Yeah, it wasn't a dream, not some, feverish delirium.
Right. He was awake, conscious, lucid, by this river, the Shebar River, in a foreign land.
And the heavens literally opened up in front of him. He saw something that it would make anyone just collapse.
And the context of Ezekiel himself is fascinating too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was a priest, but here he is in exile in Babylon, miles away from the temple, from all of the sacred traditions back in Jerusalem.
And that's where this happens, by the Shebar River.
That's exactly where it happens. The source quotes Ezekiel 1.1, in the 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day. As I was among the captives by the Shebar River, the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God.
Wow. It just completely flips our expectations, about where God shows up.
It really does. Why there? It wasn't a time of peace, not at all.
No, it was ruin, silence, total despair for Israel. A lot of people thought God had just, left when the temple was destroyed.
Right, they felt abandoned. But then, right there in their captivity, bang, the heavens open.
It's such a powerful declaration, like God saying, I'm still here, I'm still active, I'm still moving, even in exile.
His glory wasn't confined to a ruined building. It advanced with his people.
It was like a rupture in reality, wasn't it? The eternal crashing into the temporal.
Exactly. And not in some holy sanctuary, but in a place of, perceived desolation.
And right in that rupture, that's where these Ophanim appear.
Yeah, like a physical sign of this active, moving, divine presence.
Okay, so these Ophanim, what an enigma. The source describes them as living wheels.
Covered in eyes, moving in every direction, but without turning. It's like they're not bound by normal space or time.
Wheels within wheels, too, and moving in perfect sync with these winged beings. I mean, to us now, it sounds almost mechanical or sci-fi.
It really does stretch the mind. But the source is careful here. It highlights the connection. When the living creatures moved, the wheels moved beside them.
And when the living creatures rose from the earth, the wheels also rose beside them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels.
And the text explicitly says, this isn't technology. It's not just an allegory. It was glory.
Glory. Okay. A visible manifestation of something invisibly real.
Their essence wasn't mechanical. It was spiritual. Deeply spiritual.
So if it's not tech, what's the symbolism? The wheels, the eyes, what's it all pointing to?
Well, the source helps unpack that. The wheel suggests, cycles, continuity, direction, mobility without end.
Like it never finishes. Always turning, always advancing.
Exactly. And the eyes.
Yeah.
That points to divine omniscience, constant vigilance, God seeing everything past, present, future, all at once. Effortlessly.
It's incredible. The Hebrew word ophanim just means wheels, apparently.
Yeah, it barely scratches the surface, does it? Once you understand the symbolic weight.
And their function. What are they doing?
They're essential. They sustain the movement of divine glory. They make God visible, revealing his ways.
So they're part of the movement itself.
In later Jewish tradition, like the Book of Enoch and Merkabah mysticism, they're seen as a distinct class of celestial beings, right up there with cherubim and seraphim.
Wow. So like living gears for the throne, carriers of divine direction.
That's a good way to put it. They ensure God's will gets executed in motion.
But these Ophanim, as amazing as they are, they're just one piece of this bigger picture, right? Ezekiel saw so much more.
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole complex tapestry of supernatural beings and phenomena. We should probably widen the lens a bit.
Okay. So the source describes 4 living creatures. They emerge from this like tempestuous wind and fire,
Yeah.
shining like incandescent metal.
And they have the appearance like that of men, but that's just the start.
4 faces: human, lion, ox, eagle.
Right. Imagine that combination. Human reason, lion royalty and strength, ox-like service, eagle spiritual vision, all in one being.
It's like living embodiments of God's attributes, not just creatures, but messages in their very form.
Mm-hmm. And 4 wings, straight legs, feet like polished bronze hooves, and their movement so coordinated.
Each one went straight forward. Wherever the spear would go, they went, without turning as they went.
No hesitation, no deviation, just perfect fluid obedience to the Spirit's direction.
And there was fire involved, too.
Living fire, yeah, interwoven among them, flashing like lightning. And they moved incredibly fast, running and returning like a flash of lightning.
It's not just beautiful, it's power, presence, eternal movement. Kind of terrifying, honestly. How do you even describe that?
It's almost impossible. And then above these creatures, he sees something else.
What's that?
The likeness of the firmament, like the color of awesome crystal, stretched forth over their heads.
So not just the sky, but like a platform, a celestial floor.
Exactly. A floor of a higher reality made visible. The stage for the main event, you could say.
And this is where it gets really wild, isn't it? The throne.
Oh, yeah. Above that crystal firmament, there's the likeness of a throne, an appearance like a sapphire stone. Just imagine that color, that brilliance.
And someone on the throne.
A figure, with the likeness of a man, but glowing, like burning metal, enveloped in fire.
And this figure is identified as
The likeness of the glory of the Lord. The
Wow.
source really emphasizes its theological weight. It even calls it an anticipation of the incarnation.
wow. God showing a glimpse of herself in a form Ezekiel could sort of comprehend as manlike, but still utterly divine and fiery. That's huge.
It really is. And around this fiery throne, there's one more element.
A rainbow.
Yeah, like the appearance of the rainbow in the cloud on a rainy day. It's not just decoration.
It symbolizes God's covenant, right? His promise, grace amidst all that power and judgment.
Precisely. A reminder of his enduring faithfulness even when his glory is overwhelming.
So Ezekiel sees all this incredible, terrifying, glorious scene. What does he do?
What could he do? He falls on his face. And then he hears a voice.
And that's the real start of his prophetic ministry.
Exactly. That encounter, that overwhelming awe and surrender, that's the commissioning. Imagine trying to process all that and then getting your divine assignment.
Okay, so we've seen the Ophanim, the creatures, the throne. It's clear this isn't just random imagery. It's pointing to a highly organized celestial order.
Definitely. The source points out the Bible reveals different orders, different offices of angels. It's not chaotic. There's a hierarchy reflecting God's own nature order, intentionality.
So how do these Ophanim, these living gears, fit in with other angels we read about, like cherubim?
Right, the cherubim, and they're not the chubby babies of Renaissance art. They're formidable guardians. First seen guarding Eden, right?
Yeah, and on the Ark of the Covenant. In Ezekiel's vision, they seem connected to the throne, moving with the Ophanim.
They sustain the throne, in a way. They reveal sanctity in motion, moving perfectly with those wheels.
Then you have the seraphim from Isaiah 6.
The burning ones. Their whole purpose seems to be proclaiming, holy, holy, holy around the throne, like living flames of praise.
Constantly declaring God's absolute holiness.
Yes. And then there are archangels mentioned.
Like Michael, the source calls him the warrior angel.
He's the fighter, battling spiritual forces, leading armies, delivering judgment, defending God's people. Not so much a messenger.
That's more Gabriel's role, right?
Exactly. Gabriel is the messenger. Appeared to Daniel, announced John the Baptist's birth and the Messiah's birth to Mary. He communicates divine news, announces major shifts in history.
So 2 very different primary roles there.
Clearly defined roles, yeah.
So back to the Ophanim. Where do they slot in? The source says they aren't explicitly categorized in the same way, maybe.
Not in the same lists, perhaps, but their position is undeniable. Right there, by the throne, moving in perfect sync with the cherubim. That places them in an extremely important role.
Porters of divine direction, living gears of the throne. They literally enable the throne's movement.
Which, as we've said, is key to understanding God isn't static. His throne moves.
And the one thing tying all these beings together, cherubim, seraphim, archangels, Ophanim, is what?
Perfect obedience. The source quotes Psalm 103 here. Blessed are the Lord, you his angels, mighty in strength, who perform his word, obeying the voice of his word.
They don't freelance. They don't have their own agenda.
Not at all. Their entire existence is about God's will. They point away from themselves towards the throne. They're not meant to be worshipped.
But their existence reminds us there's a much grander reality out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, especially today, to just reduce all this spiritual stuff to metaphor, isn't it?
Yeah, we intellectualize it away. But Ezekiel's vision, it wasn't just a pretty picture of heaven.
No, it was a window into an active, dynamic spiritual reality, one that's still going on today. Angels are real beings. They have missions, authority.
The scripture doesn't talk about them symbolically all the time, does it? It talks about them as real agents.
Exactly. Hebrews 1.12 calls them ministering spirits sent out to serve for the sake of those who are to inherit salvation.
Ministering spirits, so they're active, helping.
Their action, even if we don't see it, is constant. Guiding, protecting, alerting, strengthening, even warring on our behalf.
We see examples in the Bible, right? An angel helping Elijah when he was ready to give up.
Bringing answers to Daniel's prayers. Freeing Peter from prison.
Even Jesus, served by angels after the temptation, strengthened by one in Gethsemane.
If the Son of God was ministered to by angels, why would we think we navigate this world without that unseen help?
That's a really powerful thought. This constant unseen activity happening all around us, influencing things, even when we have no clue. It kind of reframes what's real, doesn't it?
It does. But it also raises a question. If they're so active, why don't we see them more?
Good point. Does the source touch on that?
It does. It suggests a limitation, maybe our own disbelief or spiritual blindness. It uses that great example of Elisha's servant.
Oh, right, when the servant was terrified by the enemy army surrounding them.
Yes, and Elisha just prays, Lord, open his eyes so that he may see. And suddenly the servant sees the hillsides covered in horses and chariots of fire.
They were there the whole time.
The whole time. The problem wasn't the absence of angels. It was the servant's inability to perceive that reality.
Wow. So being aware of this realm, it's not about worshiping angels.
Not at all. It's about fostering reverence for God, aligning ourselves with His purposes. Angels always deflect praise back to the throne.
Okay, let's zoom out again. Ezekiel's vision wasn't just celestial mechanics or angel descriptions. It was revealing something deeper, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It was showing an ongoing invisible war, a battle between light and darkness. The source makes it clear. The visible world isn't the only stage where history unfolds.
Behind the scenes, behind empires and politics, there's this deeper spiritual conflict.
Paul talks about it in Ephesians, right? Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms.
And this war, you can't win it with just human smarts.
No way. It requires spiritual discernment, seeing beyond the surface, and using the armor of God that Paul describes.
The belt of truth, breastplate of righteousness, shoes of the gospel, shield of faith, helmet of salvation, sword of the Spirit.
These aren't just nice ideas. They're spiritual tools for a very real, unseen conflict.
And if the ophanim, those wheels, represent divine movement and omniscience,
it tells us God is actively, powerfully engaged in this unseen battle. He sees everything, and His purposes are constantly moving forward.
Which brings us back to maybe the most radical part of Ezekiel's vision. God's glory isn't static.
Exactly. The throne isn't fixed in one place. It's in constant motion. That signals God's active participation, His intervention, His absolute sovereignty.
For ancient people, gods were often tied to specific places, temples.
Right, but this vision just shatters that idea. A throne so dynamic it moves with the people into exile. That's revolutionary.
It declares God is unbound. He's actively involved, not some distant, static deity.
And the implications for us are huge. It means God isn't limited by our circumstances or locations. His glory wasn't stuck in the ruined temple.
It could show up by a river in Babylon in the middle of despair.
He's not passive. He participates. He descends. He moves. The Ophanim aren't just decoration. They are the structure of that divine movement.
Making His active presence a reality. And the eyes on the wheels.
Reinforces omniscience. Nothing escapes Him. No tear, no injustice, no hidden thought. Past, present, future. He sees it all.
And the rainbow around the throne.
A constant reminder. Grace and covenant endure. His promises hold firm, even amidst judgment and awesome power.
And it's profound that after seeing all this glory, then Ezekiel heard the voice from the throne.
Yes, God's actions, His movement, they precede His communication. But He does communicate. The God who moves also speaks. And when He speaks, things happen.
So pulling this all together, what does this mean for you listening right now? This deep dive into Ezekiel's vision, it shows us a God who is always, always in motion, always in control.
Even when everything around you feels chaotic or hopeless, that moving throne, those watchful eyes, the synchronized beings, they all declare his unwavering active reign.
Even when you feel lost, abandoned, like you're in exile, the source of all power, that eternal throne, is advancing. It hasn't forgotten you.
And here's maybe the final thought to carry with you. That man of fire Ezekiel saw on the throne, the source reminds us he ultimately became flesh.
Jesus.
Yes, that infinite, uncontainable glory, the one that made prophets fall down in terror and awe. It chose to make itself accessible to us.
So his powerful moving presence isn't just some ancient vision of wheels and fire.
No, it's still at work, right now, transforming realities, advancing his purposes, and offering a personal invitation to you.
The profound implication, even when things seem completely lost, that eternal throne is advancing right into your reality.